boys and girls, welcome back to Kerith Kids TV. My name is Sonia and you might be wondering, why am I holding two birthday cake candles? I've not got a birthday cake to put them in, but I'm holding two candles because I wonder how many candles are on your birthday cake when you have a birthday. Some of you might just have two candles, three candles maybe. Should we get another one? Three candles. And then maybe, oh no, I'm not going to add any more. It might get a bit dangerous. But we sing happy birthday and you blow them out. There you go. Well, on my birthday cake, boys and girls, there's even more candles than that. I probably don't have enough hands to count, to carry and hold here how many candles would be on my birthday cake. I wonder how many birthday cake candles would be on a cake for Kerith Community Church. Can you think how long since the birth of Kerith Community Church? Do you know the answer to that? Have a little guess now. Well, you're almost right, not quite high enough. There would be about 141 candles if Kerith Community Church had a birthday cake on its birthday this year. But what about not just our part of the church, but the whole worldwide church? How many years do you think it's been since the birth of the church? One of you said it. Over 2,000 years. Well done. Well, we're going to read today from Acts chapter 2, verses 43 to 47. If you've got a Bible, go and grab one because I'd like us to read it together. But if not, it's going to appear on the screen. So pause the video and we're going to hear a little bit more about this in a minute. So we read those verses in Acts. Now that comes at the end of chapter 2 in Acts. And at the start of that chapter is when the Holy Spirit came. Do you remember, boys and girls, that Jesus, after he rose from the dead, he spent some time with his disciples and he said, I'm going to actually go back and be with God in heaven. And they were sad because they were going to have to say goodbye to him again. And he promised them, there's going to be the helper come and be with you. You're not going to be on your own. I'm going to send the helper. And they were like, who, what, how, what's the helper? And then the Holy Spirit came just as Jesus promised. The Holy Spirit was the helper to come and be with them, which meant that them and us, we're never alone. We're never apart from Jesus. We're never apart from God because we have the Holy Spirit living with us if we invite him to live with us. And then the disciples, after the Holy Spirit came to them, people started speaking in lots of different tongues and amazing things were happening. And one day they were preaching and about 3,000 people said, God, I want to give my life to you. They said, Jesus, I want to be your forever friend. Like we do with that ABC prayer. They gave their lives to Jesus. And then this that we read today comes just after that. This is the beginning of the church. They're meeting together in each other's homes. They're eating together. They're sharing things. They're meeting. They're praising God. They're going to the temple regularly. They share loads of stuff in common. They've got a common purpose, it says. That's like church now. It might not look exactly the same, but we all share a common purpose, a common goal. We want to love God and we want other people to know and love God. I love the things it says about how they shared things, and they shared out things so that the most needy people, the people that didn't have things, could have stuff. They could have a share in the food, a share in the money. They shared and they cared for those around them. And they did this while praising God. And they did it with joyful hearts. Boys and girls, at church, this is a little bit like us, isn't it? Well, hopefully a lot like us. We share with other people. We do that among our church. We do that with people in our communities outside of our church, as in Kerith Church. So we do that in one way that I'm thinking of with Deo and Alondra. We bring some of our pocket money and we give that and we share what we have with other people that maybe have less than us. I wonder how you think you can serve and love other people at church. Last week we were thinking about how we can do that for our families. Well, our church is our family as well. Our church family, our church friends. The younger we are, the harder it is perhaps to think about different ways that we can share and love others at church, because there's certain jobs in church that we just can't do yet until we get a few more of these candles on our birthday cake. But there are things that we can do. We've talked about bringing our money for Deo and Alondra. We can do things like loving people well by saying a kind word to them, by sharing the things that we have in our kids groups together. There's things we could do. We could draw a picture or write a card for maybe an older person that's not very well in our church community. There's things that we can do. And boys and girls, I want to set you a challenge this week to be thinking about how can you love and serve your church community just as God would want you to do. Have that conversation with your grown-ups and think of ways that you can do that. And we'd love to hear those ways. Ask your grown-ups to email us and let us know the ways that you're thinking of how you can love and share with those in your church community. Because don't forget what it said. They shared everything so that those with less could have more. So there's people that have less money, they have less stuff, but less possessions, but they also maybe have less kindness in their lives, less love in their lives. And we can share the love and kindness that we have through knowing God with the people that we know and love at church. We're going to go now. It's the end of this week's episode, but be thinking about that and let us know how you get on this week.